Good morning, student. Today we are starting with a new lesson, Natural Vegetation of India. Now, natural vegetation of India or any place means anything which grows on its own without human interference. No watering, no planting, no fertilizer needed. That is called as natural vegetation. Natural vegetation can be of various type. It can be a dense forest, it can be a grassland, it can be a thorn and bush region, it can be a mosses and lichen, very small plants that can grow. So according to that, it is the natural resource that is given to us by God that grows on its own without human interference. That is, we call it as natural vegetation. Now there are a number of factors on which the natural vegetation of a country depends. Number one, temperature of the place. Number two, rainfall, which is the most important factor. Number three is the soil of the region. And number four is the relief feature. That means whether it is a desert, whether it is a mountain, whether it is a plateau or a plain land. The natural vegetation depends upon that. So first we are taking up temperature. Temperature plays an important role in the natural vegetation because with the temperature rainfall is associated. So if there is a high temperature, there is more chance of more rainfall, and if there is low temperature, there is less chance of rainfall. So in that case, rainfall and temperature plays a very important role in telling us about the natural vegetation. We can say that rainfall and temperature are the index for natural vegetation. Higher the rainfall, the vegetation will be very thick. If the rainfall is less and temperature is low, the vegetation will be very less. So with that is called as an index for natural vegetation. Number three is the soil. So soil is the whole of India. We have got various type of soil like black soil, alluvial soil, which you have done in the previous lesson, alluvial soil, laterite soil, and we have got red soil. These are the four main types of soil. Apart from that, we have mountain soil and desert soil. So according to that, we have got different types of vegetation because all soils cannot have all type of natural vegetation. So temperature, rainfall and soil. Now third is relief feature, which I just now told that with the difference in the relief feature, we have got different types of vegetation. Mountain will have a different type of vegetation, the plateau will have a different type of vegetation, the plainland will have a different type of vegetation, and desert will have completely different. And in India we also have the delta region, so delta will have a different type of vegetation. So these are the main factors. So among which rainfall is the most important factor for determining the type of natural vegetation a country has. Now, according to that, we have main types of natural vegetation of India are, among that we have five. Number one, tropical evergreen forest, where rainfall is more than 200 centimeter, temperature is quite high. Number two, deciduous monsoon forest, where rainfall is 150 centimeter or little less than that. Those areas have deciduous monsoon forest. Number three, desert, we call it as semi-desert or thorn and shrub forest or thorn forest, where we have less, the area receives less than 25 centimeters of rainfall. Then according to the natural feature, we have got two types, that is mountain forest and tidal forest, or the other name is littoral or mangrove. So tidal forest has got three names. Tidal because of the tide that occurs at the delta, it is also called littoral, and the third name is mangrove forest. So all these five types of forest is of different characteristics. Each forest has its own characteristic with a dominant type of trees and its uses. So now coming to the tropical evergreen forest. In India, our island, that is Andaman Nicobar Island, the west coast of India, that is the whole of the western part of Western Ghat, receives very heavy rainfall. So those areas have evergreen forest, because it shows that these trees do not shed the leaf in any fixed period of time. The whole year round it looks green. It is dense forest. It is number of creepers are there. Thick undergrowth of plants are there. It is difficult to penetrate inside the forest, and the trees that are grown here are hardwood, which is very, like for example mahogany or rosewood, which is important for expensive furnitures. Now coming to the second, deciduous monsoon forest. Now the word deciduous means those trees which shed their leaf in one particular season and they look bare. So it is a monsoon region, especially near Chota Nagpur Plateau where we are staying. We have deciduous monsoon forest where rainfall is 150 centimeters, or it may be little less than that. So that is the characteristic is the trees shed their leaves, and the most important trees of this region is sal and teak, which is of commercial importance. For making railway sleepers, for making hardwood furnitures, for making teak is used for making good furnitures, which if we put nail in that, it does not corrode. So that is the characteristic of the trees found in the deciduous forest. Now coming to the third, desert, semi-desert or thorn forest. This is mostly found in the region like Rajasthan or Gujarat, or it may be in the central part of Deccan Plateau. So it is only stunted bushes like babool, kikar. These are the two main type of trees that is found in desert, semi-desert, plus the cactus, which is especially for the desert region. And those are trees which we call it as xerophytic plants. So these xerophytic plants have long roots which tap the water from inside. They have thick stem, modified stem which collects the water, small flowers, small leaves, so that transpiration is less, because it is a soil of sandy soil, therefore it grows thorn and bush. Now coming to the fourth one, that is mountain forest, is very different from the other, because with the altitude there is a different type of vegetation. At the foothill of the hill we have evergreen trees. As we go higher on the altitude, it is deciduous trees, then it comes to alpine trees, and then it becomes mosses and lichens, which we call it as small plants that can survive only during summer season. So that is with the altitude, different types of vegetation is found. Now the last one is tidal forest, or we call it as littoral or mangrove. This is only on the east coast of India, because all the rivers flowing towards east make a delta. That's why only the delta region has tidal forest. These forests the trees of these forests are hardwood. The roots of these plants can survive in salt water as well as fresh water. It has aerial roots and it can breathe. It has got pores. So because of it can survive in water, the most important use of the tree is to make boats and ships. The most important tree is Sundri, and the second is Hinton, which is mostly used for making boats and ships. So according to that, we have got different types of natural vegetation that we have in India, with all the important trees, and its uses are important for you, and that's why this becomes a natural resource for us. So next class we'll be doing about the other part of the lesson.